Greetings from Emirates College for Advanced Education. Welcome to the third episode of ECAE Podcast Spotlight. Today we're celebrating the International Day of Education, a moment to reflect on the power of education in shaping a better future for all. In this special episode, we will be exploring one of the most exciting and transformative developments in education today: artificial intelligence. As AI continues to reshape industries across the globe, its impact on education is undeniable. From revolutionizing teaching methods to reimagining how we learn and assess learning, AI is opening up new possibilities for students, educators, and researchers alike. But with these sophisticated advancements come important questions about ethics, equity, and the future of human-centered learning. Join us as we dive into these discussions, exploring how AI can enhance rather than replace the deeply human elements of teaching and learning. We will explore how education can guide the responsible use of AI, helping us create a future where artificial and human intelligence can coexist in powerful and meaningful ways. Stay tuned as we unpack these exciting opportunities with experts in the field. We hope that our dialogue today inspires reflections on the possibilities within education systems to equip individuals and communities, navigate, understand, and incorporate AI technologies effectively and responsibly. Good morning. Welcome to ECAE Podcast Spotlight. Today's episode is a very special episode because we are celebrating together the International Day of Education. And the theme of our discussion is a very exciting one, which is AI in education. First, I'd like to welcome you as my guests today, Dr. Patricia Fidalgo, Associate Professor and Division Head in the Division of Pedagogy, Technology, and Teacher Education at ECAE.
Good morning. Thank you for having us here today.
Welcome. And Dr. Reem Hassan, Assistant Professor in the Division of Data Analytics, Policy and Leadership at Emirates College for Advanced Education. Welcome, Dr. Reem.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for having us today.
Thank you. And then we will start with our discussion. As I mentioned in the introduction, AI is reshaping the landscape of education. There's no doubt in that, opening new possibilities for students and educators. So my question is to Dr. Patricia, if you don't mind, how can we reimagine education in the age of AI? And how can we embrace these new possibilities for teaching, learning, assessment, school environment, curriculum, and also educational organizations?
Oh, thank you again for having us here. And as you were saying in your question, the right word is actually reimagining education. So we have to rethink about how we teach and how we learn in a new era where these new technologies can do so much for us, but also pose so many questions for us. So I believe that the reimagining of education will be focused, of course, in teaching and learning, but also in the school environments. It will also for sure affect the curriculum because we need to integrate these new tools in the curriculum. The schools as organizations will also be reshaped by the artificial intelligence tools. And one of the things that has been concerning most of the teachers around the world is related to assessments. How can these new tools be used in an ethical way and a constructive way by our students and not as a replacement for the work they should be doing while studying? Very important issue. Yes, for sure. So let's focus on teaching and learning. So these AI tools can actually personalize even further the learning experience of the students. Let me tell you that personalized learning has been around for a long time, and the personalized learning is focused on students' needs. Individual students' needs. What we can do with artificial intelligence is take this personalized learning one step further by allowing teachers to unburden many of the tasks that they have to do with the help of artificial intelligence to assist the students in the personalized learning. So this is one of the things that we can do even further. Personalized learning has been around for a long time, so our students' needs have been always taken into account by teachers. What we can do it is even better now, because these tools allow us, teachers, to, for example, set time.
And it will allow us as well, in way, to actually assess our students' needs. I mean, it will help us with the, data analysis that we retrieve from, the performance of our students. So we know more and we know better about their needs. So we can, have make more informed decisions about what kind of support we're going to give to our students. Therefore, this top. So this is how we can envision, the role of AI as a tool, as an assistant rather than a replacement. So, yes.
Yes, we can take it a step further, because these tools have also the capability of being accessible either to teachers or to students 24/7. So it's an experience, a learning experience and a teaching experience that will be taken outside the school walls.
Yes.
It's an experience that can be adopted and lived by the students at any time they see fit, when it's more convenient to them and their families in many cases. So this is one way of looking at the artificial intelligence integration in education. What I would like to say is that we are looking more than ever. We had the first experience during the pandemic of online teaching and learning, hybrid models. But now with artificial intelligence, the integration of technology will take a step further by making the teaching models and learning models hybrid in a more convenient way, in a more productive way, because these tools increase productivity or can increase productivity very much, as long as we know how to use them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So this is one way that we can look at the integration. Another way could be, for example, how the school environments will be shaped by artificial intelligence. One of the things that I have just mentioned, which is the hybrid teaching and learning models, it's going to be reflected in the school environments. The classrooms will be smarter than ever. So we have been speaking about smart classrooms for a long time, but with AI, they will become smarter and amusing because they will allow to take further the real-time feedback even more. It will be even more there at the schools and in the classrooms. They will allow a better and increased engagement from the students. And hopefully the performance will also will be increased from the teachers and from the students. We tend to think about our students more often, which is fair, but teachers will also see an increase or a possibility of increasing their performance with the smarter, I'm going to call them smarter, classrooms. So this is one of the ways physical spaces, I believe, they will be also changed with the integration of these tools. Imagine virtual reality will require that hardware is brought to the classrooms, that it's not there yet for most of the classrooms around the world. So I believe that the physical spaces to accommodate this new technology will also change. We will see a change also in the curriculum. And the curriculum includes something that I was speaking just a minute ago, which is of the most concern for many of our teachers, which is assessment. When we speak about curriculum, of course, we are speaking about types of assessments and how we assess students. So not only the curriculum needs to introduce as a foundation course, artificial intelligence should include as a foundational course the use of artificial intelligence. And the use of artificial intelligence and its impact in societies is not just teaching about artificial intelligence talks.
So I think that the talk about SSC is actually integral in the talk about integrating AI in teaching and learning. I mean, when we talk about how we will what concerns it might bring to our assessments, our current assessments. There's the need to rethink and redesign the assessments that we currently have. And before we do that, I think the first step is to look at what do we really need to assess? Are we still in need to assess the same skills that we have right now? Would students need these skills? Will they remain relevant once they graduate? So we need to focus on the type of skills that we need to grow with our students, and then we think how this will affect our assessments to be in this era.
Very, very interesting. Very interesting and exciting how you took this discussion to the relationship also between assessment and curriculum. And it seems like it's all feeding into the influence or the potential influence of AI on students' learning experiences, because as Dr. Patricia mentioned, we're talking about possibilities related to the space, the classroom, related to the learning experiences, related to the content they're learning, personalizing learning, which means addressing the needs of all learners in the classroom, which also takes us to an important topic about inclusive education and equity in education. So all great and promising ideas. Would you like to add on?
Yes, I would like to add something. For a long time, we have been speaking about teaching our students about digital literacy skills. So, new technologies have been around for a long time. And now with the artificial intelligence in our classrooms, we are speaking about introducing into the curriculum artificial intelligence literacy practice, which is very important. And although we still want our students to learn some foundational skills like critical thinking, problem solving, and so on and so forth, we want them to learn how to do it using the new skills that artificial intelligence provides us. So we still want them to learn those 21st century skills, of course, but now, because of these new technologies, we need to teach them these artificial intelligence literacy skills to take further those other skills that we still expect them to learn, because these 21st century skills are not as much related to content as we all know. It is related with life skills. What we expect them to face in their lives, in their work lives, in their community lives, in their individual, in their individual lives. So all these skills now have a new layer of complexity, because now they have new tools available to them, and that how should they use them? And especially, let's remind our listeners of something that is challenging. Artificial intelligence tools are changing on a daily basis. Every time I open my computer each morning,
It's very rapid. It's unbelievable.
true, I can expect new tools to be available to me every single day. So this is even a further challenge.
And the challenge is that they're not actually responding to our requests by giving us answers or knowledge. They're actually generating new knowledge. So this is what makes these tools distinctive from, the digital tools that we had before. So that's another concern that we have to address. Just commenting on having or integrating AI into the subjects that we teach, we also need to think of an interdisciplinary approach of integrating AI. So we don't treat it as a standalone subject. It has to be integral into the curriculum, into, let's say, STEM subjects, into humanities, into art. So it needs to be explicit part of these subjects, not only treated as a standalone.
For sure, yes. And will also be reflected on the assessments, yes. It has been a long time since we have advocated for interdisciplinary assessments, not closing the disciplines within themselves and having the students, learn separately about subjects. So the interdisciplinary approach has been used for a long time now. Now we just need to figure out how to include in this approach assessments that also use AI.
So the great idea is to keep pace with the fast, really incredibly rapid developments in AI technologies. And isn't that what we need at the end of the day? You need that
Collaborations, yes, collaboration between technology and pedagogy, but you need a merge. So the interdisciplinary approach here is not only about the different subjects that you are teaching, it's also about having AI at the center, then the core of all, your interdisciplinary approaches. So it cannot be separate. It's part of anything that we do, anything that we teach, and teach students need to live with that. To learn to live with that.
Yes, and as an education college, for example, at ECAE, we recognize and we act on the need for integrating AI within our curriculum and within our pedagogies, because we are preparing educators, right? And we are promoting their lifelong learning. And as you mentioned, Dr. Patricia, AI is growing so fast, so maybe it's important to prepare teachers to be AI literate, but also important to equip them with the lifelong learning skills to keep pace. Otherwise, we won't.
So Dewey becomes more relevant than ever. And in the 1960s, he said, education is life. Okay, it's not preparation for life, education is life. So it is interesting to see how relevant that is. No.
So I believe, as following what you were just saying, I believe that when we prepare educators for using these tools, of course, we have been doing a first approach, which is presenting them with some tools and teaching them how to use those tools. But because the landscape is changing so fast, we need to also equip them with tools that they can use by themselves to face whatever novelties come into their way. So whenever they come across new tools, what should they do? Because we won't be there every single time to present these new tools.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, I think the word here is about capacity building, educators' capacity building. How do we do that? The first thing that we need to focus on is to provide them with the training that they need, the professional development that they need. It can be in forms of training, workshops, online courses, certificates, which sometimes they have to be mandatory even, so that educators understand that this is not a choice, okay? It is something that has to become integral into their practices, teaching practices. So they need to be provided with these types of training that is essential for them to learn about the fundamentals of AI, about how they can use AI, let's say, ethically in their teaching practice. But that's not enough. In order to integrate AI in teaching and learning, they need tools, right? And they need access to these tools. So that's part of the support that we need to give to them. Some of these tools are very effective. They need to learn about them, and they also need to have access to them. And that sometimes that's expensive. And that can be a barrier. So what are we doing to support teachers to remove these barriers? Okay. So accessibility is important, and actually feeling secure and safe is equally important. So teachers would need to have some hands-on experiences with these tools. They need to experiment, make mistakes, fail in order to succeed in, to learn some lessons and to improve their practices. So they need a safe, secure, supportive environment to facilitate these experiences. They need also to work collaboratively. So we need actually to engage them in networks, communities and communities of practice. Of course, these professional networks are important, because if I am working in silos, I'm going to learn only from my own experience. But if I have access to what Dr. Patricia is doing, then I'm learning from her practices. So I'm expanding my effective teaching practices, or best practices.
Because everybody is a novice learner in this case.
Sure.
Let me jump in and share with you and our listeners something that me and Dr. Reem have been doing, which is to deliver workshops, to K-12 teachers around Abu Dhabi schools. So one of the things, the outcomes from these workshops, of course, we are teaching them about the AI tools and then about the challenges of using those AI tools. But let me share a good thing which is the outcome and the feedback that we get from these workshops. Dr. Reem was saying, this is a requirement. But we want to feel that when they attend these workshops, they don't feel that this is a burden of professional development on them. That they actually take something useful with them, and that they feel, okay, I have spent an hour and a half, 2 hours here, but this was really useful.
So how do you do that?
By engaging them and showing them the potential of these tools, and the feedback that we have been given by these teachers is so positive. We have had comments such as, this was the most useful professional development session that I have had in a long time, which is so good, because sometimes they even react like kids in wonder. Yes, they feel, yes, excited. They look at us when we are presenting the potential of these tools, and they think, oh my God, this is so much that I can take from these tools that can ease my job as a teacher, that can make my life easier, that can save me so much time, and that I can use that time in more productive educational tasks instead of those administrative tasks and, everyday tasks that every teacher still has to do.
It's when they start to see the value of what they're doing, we create the interest. What is this in this for me? To take. They feel the growth that is happening. Okay, they feel the value and how this is going to support them to ease their life, to take away of many of the burdens that they have.
To be honest, this is no surprise for me, because we know that effective professional development for teachers, that's what research tells us. If it's interest-based and needs-based, it's more likely to be successful. So you started with developing their interest, maybe they came interested.
So let me highlight one of the projects, that we have here at ECAE, where we offer support to Arabic teachers in particular. And we really take pride in this project, because oftentimes, Arabic teachers are not invited into big projects. We have a lot of focus on STEM, for example, whereas the humanities are, yes, to a certain extent. So we invited a group of Arabic teachers in a pilot study, and we trained them to use AI, ChatGPT in particular, to support them with actually enhancing students' literacy and students' fluency in Arabic. And we use this as an intervention, and you could see the happiness of these teachers when they learned about the affordances of the technologies. So yes, when we look at the ethical considerations, we tell them about the limitations of the technology, but we also need to highlight the affordances. They need to see beyond, being scared to approach this technology. And now seeing those teachers approaching technology with a lot of confidence and a lot of creativity as well. So we really take pride in having this pilot study in the country.
This is good, and congratulations for that.
Yeah, I have a story about a workshop that I delivered exactly this week to a group of teachers.
We love Dr. Patricia's
stories. Go ahead. Thank you so much. So what happened in this workshop, it was cycle 3 teachers. I was delivering a workshop that is called Beyond ChatGPT, which means we are not there to talk about ChatGPT anymore. It's been around long enough for teachers to know about it. So I was there to share some new tools with them. And what ended up happening in this workshop is that I learned from them several new tools. What I presented to them was a novelty. The tools that I took with me, most of them were a novelty for them. But then they were sharing with me new tools that they discovered by themselves and that they were using. So it was so much fun.
I can't wait to learn these tools from you later after the podcast.
Because about the networks, we are creating the networks, the professional learning communities that we're both actually collaborating and it's
We're ability expressions. It's not us at the schools teaching that. I always use the word sharing, shared gifts. We are not teaching the teachers, we are sharing with them. And because it's a sharing experience, they also now, because they have become more at ease in the use of technologies, they also feel more at ease to share. Oh, I have found this other tool. Oh, I have used this other one. And that it becomes a community of practice during the workshop.
Amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. It's wonderful. And that's great. Yeah. That's just a demonstration of how AI is engaging us in these very meaningful learning opportunities. And isn't that what we need, right? And isn't this what we do here at ECAE to prepare future-ready, we're preparing future cultivators. Educators are becoming future cultivators at the end of the day for the students to be future-ready. Okay, so I'm going to move to the next topic here. And as we have discussed, AI is rapidly transforming, it's changing our lives, the way we work, the way we do things, the way we learn. And the UNESCO paid attention to that and addressed the need for education systems to keep pace by launching 2 AI competency frameworks, one for students and one for teachers. So what strategies can empower educators and learners? I'll address this question to Dr. Reen. What strategies can empower educators and learners with the competencies needed to understand, evaluate, and influence AI technologies?
Yes, the UNESCO released a new framework for AI integration that has 5 pillars. And that was last year for teachers and for students. And it is important to unpack these 5 pillars or competencies that they are highlighting in order to know where to head next. So the first one is actually the human-centered, mindset. Okay, the second one is to know about AI fundamentals, and the third one is to know about the ethical concerns in AI. The fourth one is AI and pedagogy, how to integrate AI in pedagogy, and the fifth one is kind of interesting because it's about AI for professional development, but where teachers learn to start self-regulated journey. So they use AI in order to design their own professional personalities. So they personalize it for themselves. So that's the interesting part about it. So it's like they provided, the UNESCO is trying to provide a compass, to educators and the students on how to do this, how to go this, down the road. It's not trying to actually put more pressure or anxieties on educators. It's just trying to see, try to see where we're standing at this point and how you can proceed. So that takes us to the 3 levels that the framework is trying to advocate. So we're starting from the first level, which is only acquire. Needed to acquire the basic skills just to bridge this gap, to learn more about these technologies, and then moving to deepen. So after you've acquired it, you tried some skills, then you deepen this knowledge by truly integrating them into your teaching practices in the classroom. You learn lessons, you share that, you collaborate. So you deepen the knowledge, and then you move to to the higher level where you start creating, and this is where you even might become part of the AI policy, development. You develop policies for AI integration. But let's just pause a bit. We don't want to put pressure on teachers. Not everyone has to really write policies and to inform policies. It's not about this. It's about, how you UNESCO is trying to support teachers to put, milestones for themselves. And it's, how do I move from point A to point B, and then from point B, I put another goal for myself to improve my...
So it was clearly support strategy by the UNESCO. It was support documents to support teachers.
What is interesting, although this is a very important topic, in 2022, only 7 countries had frameworks for the integration of AI. And now, with what we've witnessed for the past 2 years, many countries are joining on board just to support their own countries. And yes, so you're talking about the kind of support we want to give to teachers. That should be our starting point. And so teachers have to have the human-centered mindset. How are we going to support them with that? We ask the teachers to design, activities in the classroom that would focus on students' well-being, emotional intelligence, social experiences, as well as integrating AI. But how would they learn to do that? So that we need to think about the professional development that we're providing for them. Are we actually integrating this concept in the professional development? So it's also about the design that we have.
And are they collaborating with the AI tools?
Are we giving, or are we providing mentors? Who are informed about it? Sorry.
No worries. Let's see. And yes, it is. And I was just thinking about jumping in by saying that with this framework that Dr. Lim were just talking about, that provides let's say, a more structured way for teachers to integrate the artificial intelligence. It also touches again in one subject that we mentioned before, which was to having enough artificial intelligence literacies to structure their professional development in the future, because as I was saying, we will not be there all the time to present new tools to them. So they need to have the skills to be able to do their own path regarding how to use technology. But one of the things that is very important that was mentioned by Dr. Rim is one of the major concerns, and there was some studies made about how do teachers feel of using artificial intelligence. And there were two major concerns that come up on the top of the list of teachers' concerns. One of them was assessments. How are their students going to use it? Yes, it was something that was expected on the study. And on third place, if I'm not mistaken, came that teachers are worried about being replaced by artificial intelligence. So it is out there, the concern, because we don't know the evolution of these systems, so we don't know actually what they will be able to do. But we know that some companies have made the experiment of having something called like AI teacher assistant, and the performance of these robots powered by artificial intelligence was so amazing that it is only normal that teachers, when they see these experiments, start feeling concerned. Yes, this is why human-centered approach is so important, so that we can diverge from this concern, can address it in a way, but diverge from this concern by focusing on using this technology in a human-centered way. Yes.
So when we actually, to take it from the Dr. Patricia, when we say the human-centered mindset as one competency in the framework, UNESCO framework, it means that we are actually giving the support, and assuring teachers that it is their presence. They are the teachers, and AI is only used as a tool, to support them in there. But there also comes a responsibility for teachers themselves, because sometimes teachers might do harm to themselves without knowing it. They might actually become over-reliant on technology because there's a temptation pass, that will relate from some teaching practices in the classroom. So you want to let go your agency, your authority, your knowledge, your presence as a teacher. So if you make that decision, then probably you're the person bringing harm to yourself. So far, as yet, because things are changing, we know that technology, AI, is not going to replace teachers. However, a teacher who's very skilled with using technology might really replace a teacher who's not. So we need to work on our skills as
good point.
We need to work on our skills and how effective we are in integrating AI into our teaching practices. And we don't need to we cannot give it authority. The experience that this tool can have, needs to be informed by what we have learned as indicators about learning theories.
Right?
Whether you like it or not, because at the beginning, when I'm going to give an example, when ChatGPT first came out, I remember reading an article. I can't remember who wrote it or what the platform was, but I remember I read a catchy phrase, a catchy opinion about it, which is still stuck in my brain. They describe it as they're not happy with it, but it's the bitter pill that must be taken, kind of. And when you say bitter pill, it's more like, it reminds me of medicine, right? So it's mixed feelings about it, which was very evident.
Because they can't see, I mean, they were unable to see the affordances. They couldn't see the affordances back yet. Okay, this is the support that we're talking about, with the professional development that would really show them what this technology can do for them, how this technology can change actually the traditional approach of teaching in the classroom into a more, the student centralized. And this is what we've been always talking about. We want to shift from teacher center into student center, but how are we doing that? How can technology facilitate that? Technology can facilitate human experiences. It can facilitate globalization, or glocalization, as we say. So it can take the interaction of our students beyond the walls of our classrooms. We can connect our students through the technology with students from all around the world, with students outside their school, so they can even grow more human attributes. They learn more about the needs of other people and how their experiences differ or are similar to the experiences that they're going through. So this is again a human experience that we can design for our students. We cannot always say that, oh, this will replace us. No, not necessarily. So another point that I want really to comment on is when we talk about the literacies. We talked about the literacy for the teachers, but what about the literacy for the students? How can we build this literacy? So AI has to become an integral part of the curriculum that we're designing for our students. And this can go gradually from, focusing on the foundations of, or the fundamental unit of, information of AI in the primary series, moving to advanced, applications when go to secondary school. So that's one thing. The other thing is to get access to our students to tools.
Access is a big point.
Yeah. Our supervision will, we as mentors, not only as teachers, as mentors as well, have to be there. So we and educators, we need mentors to know how to use AI, but students also need.
I like that you're saying mentors as opposed to like supervision, or
it has to be the co-creative activity, experience.
I want to jump in again. I'm sorry, Reem. I get excited about this way. I was thinking that from the point of view of the students and them having to also develop artificial intelligence literacy, about an example, about a story that comes again from one of our workshops, which is the important role that parents and family have on this process. And the story that I'm going to tell you about is how actually a very engaged parent decided to take into his hands developing artificial intelligence literacy skills to his son. So, guys, it decided to share this in one of the workshops by saying, "Look, I decided not to fight it." This is his words. I decided, of course, not to fight it. I myself am a very interested person in technology. So every couple of weeks, every other week, I give my son a task to do related to AI. And usually the task involves a new tool and a critical use of the outputs that tool produces. So I give him a task of, here is a new tool, AI tool, go and use it. But I want you to then, whatever the output is, to analyze it and critically come to a conclusion about the quality of that output and how much you can trust in the output on that tool. Of course, it is impressive. I was telling, I'm learning a lot from the workshops that I'm delivering. And I thought that this approach by this parent was so good that should be showcased as something that other families can do. However, we also need to acknowledge that not all families have the required knowledge or feel at ease to do an experiment like this person was doing. So we also need to address how we can also promote some artificial intelligence literacy in parents and families and communities. Let's call them communities because it's sometimes more than just the families. Because without empowering them to feel at ease, to participate in this process, how can they do something with their children at home?
When you inspired another angle actually to the professional development that can be provided to parents as well, so to have their buy-in into the integration of technology. We need actually for the students, we need to a shift. We need a change, a fundamental change of how they are educated, how they are assessed. We need to move towards project-based learning, for example, where students learn how to, and AI has to be integrated, a focus of these projects that they're working on. Then students develop this skill of, building ethical solutions using, AI in order to solve real-life problems in their society. Knowledge becomes meaningful. Okay, the interest of learning more about AI is there for the. So it's not only access; it's just to show the students what they can do with that. They need to learn about also the ethical concerns. That's a very inherent.
So let's move to the ethical concerns, because we agreed that the AI discussion, AI in education discussion, came with some profound concerns related to the ethical use and accessibility, which we touched upon. But let's talk a little bit more about the ethical use of AI in education. What do we have?
Well, first, educators need to know that these tools have been developed by human, and students need to learn the same, right? How are they going to learn that if we don't really provide them with the experiences in classrooms to talk about these topics? We need to have discussions, debates, reflections, where students learn about concerns like privacy, learning the bias that is in the data.
Absolutely.
Okay, the impact that these technologies can have on their society. They need to learn how to verify and evaluate the information that they get, whatever they find on social media. There's no way you can tell that this. Some of the AI tools are so advanced that you cannot tell that the video that you're watching is actually not for that person. It's like
which takes us to the first point we discussed about why are we worrying too much? It's because AI tools can mimic human behavior and thinking.
But if we have this awareness, if we develop this awareness, then we're not that much worried about our students, because he can judge, they can verify. Okay, so we need to provide them the skills through hands-on experiences in the classroom, or that you throw something at them, it's like make them make a decision whether they want to take this information or not, and why. And that's why we need to go back to where education started. We need to have the core knowledge that will enable them to make decisions on whether this is right or wrong. We accept it or they don't accept it. We can have simulations for them where they take on new roles, not only the role of the teacher or the student. They can, for example, take on the role of AI policymaker or AI developer. So they start to see new
endless possibilities,
and they can start criticizing them, evaluating them. So it's all again back to the teacher. So the teacher, our role is more relevant than before. We need to be very careful. To give the support to each other on how we can do that.
Yeah, I wanted to add something like any ethical use or any ethical behavior. We always go back to foundations. What do I mean with foundations? We always go back to educational foundations of children. So if you give them a strong ethical approach to life, then it becomes easier to teach them the follow-up stage, which is having an ethical approach to tools that are available to them. So we need to also think that there is a lot of self-regulatory process in all this use of artificial intelligence. Okay, we can alert them or show them or share with them some of the challenges of using these tools, but it all goes back to them deciding on how to use that. And if they have a strong ethical background when approaching life, general, it will be easier for these students, teenagers, children, young adults to actually make decisions and have also an ethical approach to the use of a new kind.
I'm partly that you mentioned that it's like we're giving some more, value to humanities. I mean, humanities have not really where we have not been fairly treated because of the focus, education focus on STEM, for example. But the humanities are proving to be more relevant than ever because these are the subjects, the topics where you can start these discussions, these conversations about the ethics, ethical foundation that the students need to have.
Yeah, and that takes us to the importance of values-based education. So once we have a solid values-based education system, then we don't have to worry about the rest.
The rest is, well, we still have to worry, but it's like, that to worry. So that can start to put no, and so that's job. Yeah, well, it's even better to worry, by the way, because when we worry, we become more alert. Aisha, we make intentional decisions on how we can, to confront challenges. So we need, sometimes some kind of pressure sometimes pressure is not really a bad thing.
Yeah, but you know why? It's because I'll tell you I'll share a quick personal feeling, I would say, or observation. So when ChatGPT first came out, I did observe some sort of a collective anxiety happening in the education community. So it's good. It's really comforting to learn that values-based education can really take care of that, or at least take care of some of it, a big portion of it.
All we're terrified. We have a proverb in our culture that's like people are always enemies to things that they are ignorant about, because they don't know much about it, so they try to become enemies to these things. But once you start learning, you don't see AI as an intimidation, you see it as a friend, as a support. So yes, with knowledge, with knowledge is the key word.
This has been an amazing conversation. It's just an eye-opening and thought-provoking dialogues that we had today. I want to thank you so much for joining us in this very special episode again, because we are celebrating the International Day of Education. And our theme is AI in education. I'd like to thank you again, Dr. Patricia and Dr. Reen.
Thank you for having us here. It was an amazing experience.
Yes, pleasure. It was, yes. Thank you so much. I would like Lily to end with a quote for me. So education is not preparation for life. Education is life. So the lifelong learning has to be actually the core of what we are teaching to our students. So we all need to understand, as educators, as institutions, as students, that we need to move from, only thinking that education happens in school to thinking that it's a lifelong learning journey.
Absolutely. And it should not. Wonderful, a beautiful way to end this dialogue. And Dr. Patricia, I would like to say a last word.
I wanted to we could be here talking for so long about the challenges of artificial intelligence. I want to add to what Dr. Reen said, that mainly from my personal point of view, and the use of artificial intelligence should focus also, there are so many other things, but should focus also on justice and empathy. And I was saying, yes, can I bring a story just to end? So was this a story?
We'll end with one of Dr. Patricia's stories.
There has been a study made by a very well-known international researcher called Sugata Mitra. He's an Indian, and he has a few years ago made an experiment of using technology to replace teachers in places where teachers would not want to go and teach. So in remote areas of India, it decided to use technology to replace teachers because they didn't want to go there and teach. The hole in the walls, it was a wonderful experiment. However, it was very thought-provoking because immediately the first thing that came into mind, so are you saying that the technologies replaced the teachers on those remote places? And that brought me to think about, now that we have AI so much more available to everyone, how can we use it to exactly promote justice and equity by addressing some of these educational challenges that are, how can we take education to everyone, everywhere? How these artificial intelligence technologies that have the ability to learn by themselves, have the ability to teach, which is true, how could we take them to promote a more inclusive educational system? So we will still have places where teachers do not want to go and teach because they are so remote, and well, they have other social challenges, I'm sure. But how could we also use AI? Yes, it is a very thought-provoking idea, but I would like to end with that idea that why not use artificial intelligence to bridge that gap that Sugata Mitra so well highlighted in his experiment by saying, look, not all teachers want to go everywhere to teach. Still, there are children there and teenagers that need to learn and want to learn.
But that's just, it would be one thing that, in that experiment, he put the computer there in the wall. Okay, and he left the kids to learn from that computer by themselves, and they really learned. But one interesting part is that he asked grandmothers, to be there with the children. This was a second experiment. It was like the grandmother's part. Yes, it was called it. Yeah, since that again, we call the humans to be there.
Lex, before we leave, say something important, that from that experiment, the major output of the experiment of leaving the computers on the remote areas to see what happens was that students were learning, the children were learning together. Whenever a child was alone with the computer, he was not learning as much as when he was with other friends by him, looking at the computer and using it. So it was a collaborative process, yes. So this is one of the big outcomes from the experiment, is that there needed to be some kind of social environment, some kind of social collaboration in order for that technology to be produced and teach something to them. It was not something, actually those computers, not artificial intelligence powered. It was just, they were just connected to the internet whenever possible. Sometimes it was not even possible. But when they were connected to the internet, they made the experiment a little bit more interactive. So they were not powered by AI. Can you imagine once a computer now powered by AI?
So this is just a beautiful demonstration of how I personally am looking forward to this future where artificial and human intelligence come together in the most meaningful ways. Okay, thank you so much, and we'll continue the discussion.